15 years ago, Ford introduced right off the assembly line the first ever Baja off-road truck, the Ford Raptor. Back in 2010, like 320 horsepower is what you could get. Today, 3 generations later, you can get over double that original horsepower number in the Raptor R. Now, it was quite some time until Ford started introducing some other Raptor products, but I must say it was absolutely brilliant of them when they introduced the Bronco Raptor, and now just recently in 2024 introducing the Ranger Raptor. It's quite remarkable what Ford is doing, bringing the high performance scene to the off-road segment and doing very well at it.
So today we check out the most affordable Raptor in the Raptor lineup, the Ford Ranger Raptor. Hello everybody and welcome to Performance on Wheels. My name is Austin. My dad Todd and I, we make all types of different car videos. Now let's go get after it.
There's a lot of different Raptor content on the channel, so make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can check it out. The Broncos, the F-150s, we have it all. But what we don't have yet until today's video is the highly anticipated Ranger Raptor. I say highly anticipated because I have been highly anticipating driving and checking this out. They have been hard to come by, even though they've been out for about a year now. They're not necessarily just readily available on lot.
They're not.
So we're gonna really check out the Ranger today. Is it worth it? These two vehicles have a $32,000 price gap today as they sit, and it's kind of fun to check out the Ranger, the base Raptor, the baby Raptor, and see if it stacks up to its older siblings.
Although significantly cheaper, the Ranger Raptor still gets the full-on exterior treatment, just like the other two Raptors in the lineup. It gets the beefier suspension, it gets the lift, it gets the steel bumper in the front, it gets the whole different front end, it gets the running board. It looks like a Raptor product. It has that appearance and that look going down the road that the other Raptors give quite well.
Yeah, and I will say the exterior looks absolutely phenomenal, just overall impression. I do genuinely like the way that the Ranger Raptor looks, and that's been why I've been so highly anticipating checking this thing out. Just basic facts, over 4 inches wider than a normal Ranger and about 2 inches taller than a normal Ranger. So this thing is big, and I will say that you feel a little of that once we get inside. We'll talk about that some more. But the presence is there, and that's what's really cool about the Raptor lineup, is there is a road presence, but it's not just a presence. There is a lot of functionality that comes along with that as well.
I do need to give a huge shout out to Apple Autos for supplying both this Ranger Raptor and that F-150 Raptor. If you guys are interested in purchasing either one of these, be sure to check out that link down in the description below.
Continuing on with the looks of the Ranger Raptor, I must say that the fuel aftermarket wheels that are on the one that we're showing today do give it a pretty cool road presence. Even on the stock wheels though, there is a nice road presence. You can't necessarily see the Fox shocks that you can more easily see on both the F-150 as well as the Bronco. Maybe it's just a size thing, but you really got to get your head in here and take in the orange and black Fox shocks logos. But the fact that this thing is 4 inches wider, so about 2 inches wider on each side, that means this bed is slightly different, as well as those front fenders are slightly different over a normal Ranger. It gives this a really fun presence. However, if you're starting to compare it to the F-150 as well as the Bronco Raptor, there isn't that many things that make this stand out from the crowd, in my opinion, compared to the other ones. Now, we do have the same bumper in the back that kind of tucks in the dual exhaust, so you have that nice departure angle. And I will say that I feel like, although the same powertrain, Austin, I feel that the Ranger Raptor is more annoying sounding than the Bronco Raptor for some reason.
Must be something to do with the way that the exhaust is routed on the Ranger, but I definitely think the Bronco sounds significantly better. I'm not sure as to why that is, but it definitely isn't the greatest exhaust tone that I've heard.
Yeah, I found myself as we were zipping around just being like, oh, can we turn it down or something? But anyways, I really like the Bronco Raptor's exhaust, and that's really fun, so it's interesting that this is that dramatically different.
And it does still have valves in it, so you can change the sound. When it's in its lowest setting, it isn't bad at all.
If you were to sit in the Ranger, followed by directly sitting in an F-150, you would realize that this is like sitting in your living room with massive amounts of room, a different level of quality in my opinion. I will not dismiss the fact that the Ranger Raptor interior is fun. For the mid-sized truck segment, I really love the fact that there is, once again, a bit of a boxing match going on between the Ranger and the Tacoma. And now Chevy even has gotten involved. Well, they've been involved for a minute, but with the Colorado and the Canyon. So you've got these three really fun trucks that have some incredible performance, and they also look really mean. The Ranger did a fantastic job when they redesigned the interior, going from a completely dated interior to a very modern interior. The Raptor steps it up to a whole new level, like every other Raptor product, with the red stitching, the red logos, the red insets in the vents. It lets you know that you're in something a little bit special. And when you look out over the hood and you see the heat extraction vents, it again reminds you that you're in something that is got a little more meat to it. The vertical infotainment screen and the digital cluster, very familiar place to some other Ford products, but you do have the enhanced graphics because we are in a Ford Performance Raptor. So that's kind of fun. It makes it a entertaining place to enter. Obviously that wears off with time until you have a new passenger and they say, ooh. One thing I don't necessarily know if I like is what they have going on in the dashboard. They have a little bit of this Alcantara feeling material up front, and then there's a hard stop where it turns into a hard transition, I should say, into just a plastic dashboard. I think they could have done a better job with that. I understand they're trying to spice it up a little bit, and it does a nice job of matching the little insets of the seats that are Alcantara, and obviously we have some additional bolstering because we're in the Raptor. It's a very comfortable sitting position. They are very comfortable seats. It's almost got a little cush to it, so everything's got a little cushion. There's very nice soft touch points, which I do appreciate. In the F-150, however, it just feels like there's that next level of design, or that next level of effort maybe that the designers put in. Whether you're talking about the grills of the B&O sound system on the doors or the carbon fiber inlays, and even that transition on the dashboard doesn't seem so harsh compared to what it is in the Ranger. We still have that transition where there is an element of hard plastic behind the nice touch point of the dashboard, but it blends in a lot nicer. It is fun that there's all the similarities with the red stitching and different red accents that Ford puts in throughout the cabin. But I like the feel of the F-150 seats more. They're not as cushy. They have a little more stiffness to them. I will say that the bolstering is more apparent in the Ranger. It's maybe because the seat's has a little less width to it, but this thing's just a beast. The F-150 is a tank if you're trying to compare that to a Ranger. So it's a completely different segment. That $32,000 price gap is there for a reason.
Behind the wheel of the Ford Ranger Raptor, I'm so excited I finally get the opportunity to drive one of these. They've been so hard to come across for the last year since they've come out, and it's really cool being behind one of these. It's very interesting how similar and how much it reminds me of being behind the wheel of the Bronco Raptor. Now, the Ranger Raptor and the Bronco Raptor have an almost $50,000 price gap between the two starting MSRPs, which is unbelievable to me. So the fact that they're even comparable is almost kind of concerning and crazy to me, because unlike the Bronco, this one has a bed. Compared to your typical Ranger, it does ride a lot smoother. It definitely has a lot more aggressive ride height for sure as well. You feel like you're in a much bigger truck than your standard Ranger, and it adds that element of roughness or toughness when you're behind the wheel, which I do like. It feels like you're in something cool as well with the steering wheel that's in here, but everything does feel like slightly down-toned compared to the other Raptors, which we can't diss at all because it literally is half of the price. But you definitely do feel it in the interior quality. It's not as nice as the other two Raptors that are available on the market, but it is still a very premium interior in here. I love just how weighted the steering wheel is. I love the overall feel of driving it behind the wheel.
I'd actually really like to do a comparison video of a high trim Ranger compared to the Ranger Raptor, because although this is awesome, an entry-level Raptor that Ford has introduced, I'm not gonna lie, maybe my expectations were so high that they were unrealistic with what I was expecting out of the Ranger Raptor. It was like the waiting for Christmas Day to unwrap the Christmas present, only to find that it was like a Tupperware full of corn nuts or something. True story in my family, by the way. But anyways, I'm just a little let down on the Ranger Raptor for some reason. Maybe it's because it's Friday. I don't know what the reason is, Austin. I'm just a little bit let down. I can't even put it into words, really. I'm almost wondering if a higher trim Ranger, because I think they did a great job with the Ranger, with the redesign, but I'm a little underwhelmed with the Raptor.
I do agree, but we also have to take into account that we don't have the availability to off-road these vehicles, and I have heard nothing but good things about the Ranger Raptor off-road. I've heard that it's so fun, it's so nimble, it's smaller size, allows it to go on more trails compared to the extreme width of the Bronco Raptor and how big the F-150 is.
Point.
So I've heard that there's a lot of really cool capability with the Ranger Raptor, and it's super popular overseas, which got it way before than we got it here in the United States. So I do think that that is something that we need to take into account, that the off-road availability for the Ranger Raptor for its $50,000 price point or in that range is incredible. And I also must admit, yes, I did have more fun behind the wheel of the Bronco Raptor. I think it's more enjoyable to drive. It feels more aggressive in some of its sport settings. I'm not sure why that is. And it also feels a little bit quicker. It feels more fun in the corners. It feels like it stays a little bit more planted. It feels more fun on the road. However, it's so unbelievably minuscule how much better the Bronco feels that it is not worth almost $50,000 more.
That's the thing you have to take into account, right?
That's an incredible package that the Ranger Raptor has here. For the mid $50,000 price range, this thing has some really tough competition right now. Between this, the Tacoma TRD Pro, between the Gladiator Rubicon, I mean, it really is. Oh, and the Colorado ZR2. I mean, the mid-size truck segment is so cool right now.
Yeah, it's on fire right now.
And this one is priced the absolute best for its performance numbers. Like, zero doubt about it.
Low 5 second 0 to 60 time. I didn't mean to be negative Netty on my last rampage there, but this is a phenomenal truck. I'm not going to lie. If that's the truck segment you're looking at, good luck, because the competition is very stiff.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what you guys think about the Ranger Raptor down in the comments below. What Raptor is your favorite? I'm genuinely curious. We look forward to seeing you guys next time.